And welcome back to another episode of the Branching Out podcast. This week we've got Charlotte Cantwell. She is a senior project manager in our landscape, construction, and energy division here at Ground Control. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Senior project manager, that can mean a lot of things. So I've not done a great introduction. So could you please just tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role at Ground Control, what your team does?
Yeah, so I'm a senior project coordinator within the construction department with LDE. And myself and the team sort of assist and support throughout all stages of the construction projects. So that's your pre-con, your handover during the construction phase, all the way through to project completion. So it's really good for us to gain an insight of sort of beginning to the end of the project and be able to support the client, our managers, throughout that process.
And that's quite good because I know with some roles at Ground Control, you only see maybe one part of that process from start to finish. So it must be quite nice to be able to see the progress of that project uh, throughout and to its completion.
Yeah.
I guess what has been your experience working at Ground Control in this role?
It's been a really, really good experience so far. So I started here in July 2024. So it'll be coming up to 2 years, and sort of overall my knowledge has really increased. Just being able to like loads of new skills that I've learned and just be able to progress in myself and my own personal development as well is a really key thing. And throughout my whole time at Ground Control, I'm really supported with the team, the senior leadership team, and it's really good that I feel sort of confident and able to reach out if I ever feel stuck or anything like that. But no, it's been really good, and the experience and the knowledge that you gain is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, really getting involved with every aspect of a project. I mean, you've got to maintain your schedule, your financials, the overall design, making sure that the spec is being met, the client is happy, and keeping everyone all in the same loop. So,
Trying to
that,
juggle everything.
yeah, there's a lot there's a lot there to know, to learn, to manage. So I imagine, yeah, getting on to 2 years now, you're getting more into the swing of things now.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And I think as well, like you say, just being able to see the whole project life cycle from beginning to the end to completion and sort of handover, it really is nice to be able to watch that process throughout.
and from a client standpoint, I guess, are you one of their main liaisons, or how do you fit in with the client? How do you help them?
I think it really depends on the project. Obviously, we have a variety of works that we complete. And what I always say to my team is the project coordinator team, can be as involved as they want to be. And I'm really keen to go out on sites, meet the client, be there, one of their main point of contacts, be on the weekly meetings. So that's one thing that myself and the team are really good at adapting. And it is, however much you want to be involved, you sort of make that yourself,
Yeah.
and offer the support throughout. So yeah, it's really, really key for the client to have that sort of person on the back burner that's not always on site all the time, that might not have time to check emails, things like that, but they can count on us and we are here
Yeah.
to fall back on.
Yeah. No, that is you're a good way of kind of making sure that the client is getting what they need across in a quick way, and that you're all staying connected and working as a team. So the projects that you guys are working on, it could be, is it soft and hard landscaping, or am I getting that mixed up?
Yeah, so it is a huge variety. So obviously we've got the traditional construction department, which is your they do quite a lot of house builders, your soft landscaping, and then in the projects department, that's more of like your play areas, your big spaces. If we've got any like suds projects or drainage, anything like that. So it is a huge variety.
Yeah, oh wow. So you get like the pretty stuff, and then
Yeah.
also like the when you're driving past, you're like, oh, I know like I know that they've done some works here, and like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Have you had any like memorable moments so far? Any projects that really stood out? Or
I think going back to the whole SUD side of the works that we complete, when I first started, I got put on what I was supporting with our Mansfield SUDS project. And for someone that had never worked on the SUDS project before, didn't have a clue what SUDS was, it was quite a challenge to try and understand what the works that were being done sort of consisted of, why that was being done, and how that was going to benefit the community, the local area. But again, with that continuous site visits, your weekly client meetings, the knowledge does increase. And that's one thing that really stuck out to me, is that I now know what SUDS means. I now know what a bioswale, how that gets created and what benefits that sort of implements, which I didn't have when I first started. So that's a really sort of challenge and memorable moment for me.
if you were to give a elevator description, I'm not gonna say pitch because it's more like an elevator like summary of what SUDS is, what is it?
Put me on the spot here.
I have, sorry.
So obviously it's your sustainable urban drainage solutions,
Yep.
and things with your bioswale. So that's sort of, oh, you've really put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
So if I think of the Mansfield one, it was dug out really, really deep. And you've got your drainage, your layers, your filtration layers, things like that. So that's going to stop, or that's going to help all of the flooding in the local area sort of travel through that system. Yeah, I say my knowledge has increased. I know I have a better understanding.
No, but that's a really good summary. No, that's what I was looking for. Kind of like if somebody was to say, "Oh, Jess, do you know what SUDS is about?" I'd be like, "I know, because Charlotte told me I have that." Yeah, I know. I know a little about a lot. That's kind of how I feel ground control is. If you work in more central services, you learn a little about a lot, and then you've got people that really, really know the fine details of everything. So would you say there are any misconceptions or stereotypes associated with your area of work?
I think a key one for me, obviously, being in the project coordinator sort of side of things, I think there's a massive misconception about us just sort of being classed as admin and we just save stuff on the file or sort of paper copies, things like that. But I think when you actually delve into what we do day to day and how we support, so if you look at like your pre-construction, we've created a huge mobilisation tracker to support our construction managers. We assist with the construction phase plan, the waste management plan, onboarding, compliance, things like that. So I think when you sort of say to someone project coordinator, they just think, oh yeah, admin, sits at home all the time. But it is really, like I said earlier, it's as much as you want to put in. And when you understand how we support our managers and the benefits of having the coordinator team and being involved in the whole project, I think that sort of changes people's perspective on that.
The people on the ground, you can't be keeping track of all the things that, I mean, you're trying to keep that big picture at the end of the day and try to make sure all the little parts are still fitting in to achieve the big picture, and that is the outcome and the end result of the project. You're keeping things moving.
Yeah, and we're keeping all the ducks in a row and making sure that everything's aligned. We're doing the bits behind the scenes just to make sure that we're obviously making the client's experience the best as possible, but as well as trying to avoid delays and just assist with our managers where we can.
Yeah, I mean it's almost too like our like value around it. If it's to be, it's up to me. Like you're really fulfilling that value to your team, and that you're making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that and that the end project is sticking to a schedule as much as it can. Obviously, weather must always play a part in that, and our weather this year has been absolutely terrible.
Not fun.
Yeah, no. Before I kind of wrap up this section, is there any upcoming projects that you'd like to talk about that you are working on?
So we've got one that we're working on at the moment, which is Berry Hill Park, and that's actually really close to completion. And that's been going on for over a year now, and it consists of a new cafe, drainage works, a huge new play area, pathway improvement. So it's been a really, really wide variety of projects with a lot of works on. So I'm really excited to see the sort of finished result on that and just watch it all come together. And then we're also a couple of months into our Princess Diana Memorial Playground project, which is going to be a really, really good one. We've just had a massive bit of play equipment delivered on
Oh,
site,
that's
and that was
exciting.
good. And again, going to site visits and just seeing the progression in that is going to be really, really key.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I mean, those are the nice ones to go on and to especially at the end when like people are
Mm.
actually able to enjoy the space that you created or that the team has created, is just it's really fulfilling. It must be really fulfilling.
Yeah, no, and it's just nice to see sort of you see it go from an old rundown area
Yeah.
and then throughout the works it's this muddy pit that struggling to walk in, and then at the end it's just this amazing project, and it's really, really I love seeing the finished results.
We'll keep an eye out for that. I'm sure we'll see all about that when it is finished. I'm really
Yeah,
excited for that.
there'll be good ones.
Oh. So obviously we are the training team that run this podcast. So we do like to talk a little bit about personal development and learning. And you've kind of said already, obviously it's been almost 2 years and you feel like you're constantly have been learning along the way. Could you tell us a little bit on how you have focused on your personal development at Ground Control?
Yeah, so I personally I'm a really, really keen learner. So personal development is a massive thing for me. So apart from or aside from the day-to-day knowledge that you're gaining from doing what you do, I'm currently working on my level 3 team leader supervisor apprenticeship, which I done through or which I'm doing through GC Grow. That should be completing around June time. And that's really boosted my confidence in sort of the managing side of things, because
Yeah.
as a new manager, it is hard to adapt to new skills and understand certain ways of adapting, working with different teams. So that's been really, really beneficial for me. Um, and I've also done a couple of the GC Manage courses as well, just to be able to put what I'm doing into real life perspective, like
Yeah.
how real people within the company deal with that, what ways they have found easiest to put that into practice. So yeah, that's really my professional development with ground control. It's been really, really great.
And I think you really highlight kind of a shift in the industry as well. When I started at Ground Control, I mean, it was all very much, um, you know, learning and growing through experience. And I would say about what, 5 years ago, that kind of they wanted to shift that a bit and make sure that people are, doing the actual learning and then being able to apply that learning to the real world. And that's where all these apprenticeships have kind of come about, especially in the landscape construction industry. So I think it speaks in your experience to that, you know, you are getting experience working and working on the projects, and then you're also getting those kind of that extra level of I guess professional qualification and learning that will really help you excel in your role in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's a massive benefit that comes with ground control, because I feel like nowadays everyone is so keen to learn, and it's such a big thing to be able to do your apprenticeship, your GC Grow, your GC Manage, even if you just want to develop some of your own personal skills, having that company where you can do
Yeah.
that and do that whilst you're working is really, really beneficial.
And yeah, I think with GC management, which you've talked about and you've said kind of helped you in your role, is what we try to offer are really like practical tools that you can take with you and utilize in managing your teams,
Yeah.
specifically with GC Manage.
Yeah.
Um, is there been any particular courses that you really enjoy to recommend?
I think all of them for me were a learning curve, but ones that I really took a lot of knowledge from was my like developing assertiveness and working like working with change and understanding
Yeah,
change, because change is such a big thing and
yeah,
majority of people hate it. But
yeah,
understanding like the process around it and why your changes being done, the benefits of it, how that's going to sort of affect your day-to-day role. I think that was a really, really good one for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, being assertive the right way is incredibly, incredibly important. And ground control, and I mean, I think really in any fast-paced workplace like ground control, change is a constant. So being able to support people through that is really helpful and important in, maintaining trust and teamwork. For listeners, uh, do you have any tips or advice that you think that they could apply in their development?
I think the key thing for me is never limit yourself. And because personal development is so key and you have got so many options with ground control, I think just push yourself out of the comfort zone and learn new skills. Be open to learn stuff that you wouldn't have normally learned before because you don't realize how much you can adapt and take into your day-to-day role. So that probably be the main bit of advice from me is just push yourself out there.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean that pick and like we have the pick and mix option, which is what it sounds like you've done, and
Yeah.
that's allowing you to get a taste of it without committing to the whole thing, which is
Yeah. And just being able to pick ones that potentially that you're a little bit weaker in, that you
yeah.
just want to boost your knowledge a little bit, gain a little bit more understanding. I think that was that's a really good program.
No, brilliant. Thank you for that. Obviously we try to keep these short. We don't want to take too much of your time up. So we're gonna end on a bit of parting of knowledge, is what I like to call it. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Best piece of advice, I think for me, just ask questions. And like I said earlier, every day is a learning curve. And especially within the construction department, there is so much new knowledge, new skills, new works that are being completed. You're not gonna know everything that's going on straight away. And it can be overwhelming. But I think by using the knowledge and putting it into practice on the projects that you're working on and asking the questions, gaining a better understanding is probably the best thing that I've ever done. Just not be afraid to, if you don't understand something, ask what it means, because that's how majority of my knowledge from the different schemes that we do or the different tasks that we do. That's where 90% of it has come from. Just putting myself out there and asking.
Yeah, no, don't be afraid to ask, and it's better to ask than to struggle or fumble
Yeah.
along. That's not no one wants that for
No,
anyone. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
no, that's perfect. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for speaking with me today. I really appreciate it, and we will be keeping an eye out for those projects.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was nice to speak to you.
Thank you.